Hello bros and welcome to Vic Zero, BroFive production and next part of Yender Bender. So, let's see, what game are we gonna do this time? I don't know which story yet. We have two. We can either do Nathan or Russell. I say Nathan, it seems pretty interesting. And I know even Russell is also interesting. Because those two stories are intertwined somehow. I don't really know how yet, but it would be fun to see how. But let's start the right here. Nadia was on the pyramid, but his name was Nathan. And Russell. This seems to be the biggest game. And this seems to not be as big. But this has 5 endings. I actually want to do this, and then we're gonna do Russell. Because I think in the stories, actually Nadia comes first. Whoa, that's a statue I would want in my living room. Why don't we just hold it here? Your parents could come visit, and then we would have to spend our fortune on flights. You know how my parents are, they're obsessed with tradition. Your parents have clearly had to fund something of this. So why won't we spend money on the most important day of our lives? But you're totally fine with investing thousands of dollars into a couple of idiots in a science lab. Actually, that's actually the smartest thing you can do. It was a business investment, Rose, and they're bright kids. They know what they're doing. So you keep saying. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Do you? My name is Nathan and I have a lot on my plate right now. Sure, I got a high-paying job and a supportive partner, but I've been working pretty much every day for the past 6 months. And the shareholders have been demanding more and more, and it's really hard to keep up. On the top of that, my fiancé parents are insisting that we spend money on the most extravagant wedding ever, which would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that all our money is tied up in business investments right now. Actually, if I were to get married, you focus on the honeymoon after first with the money. Seriously. Because that's the most important part, I would say, nearly. But I would not plan to get married anytime in the first 30 years of my life, so whatever. Heck, I had to put my electricity bill on my credit card, for crying out loud. I need to hire a better accountant. My dad did offer to cover half of the costs of everything. You could just ask him, it's not like he mind. Your father would never let me live that down. That won't be happening. I can just see his stupid smirk now. Excuse me? What else can you say? Forget that I said that. Consider yourself a probation hotshot. You have to make it up to me with a soothing foot massage later. I see you at the board meeting, okay, sweetie? See you then. We'll sort out this wedding business later. We'll think of something. Rose and I both work together in Abandoned Enterprises, a multi-phased organization that deals in computers, office equipment, construction supplies, and even medical research. The two of us have been working there for nearly a decade now, and we're both on the board of direction. But although we work in the same place, we're there different hours, with Rose doing most of her work from home. I normally start the morning early and finish up about 5. Rose brings up the rear and comes home just before 8, and I always got dinner ready for her when she gets back from work. Actually, Actually, girls like guys that actually can cook food, so that's actually a good thing. I actually can cook food, not very good food, but it works. We have a busy schedule, but we're both adults and we're making it work. Okay, seriously, what are with the statues? Seriously. First one here. You got the lovely mornings. Now, where did I put my schedule for the day? In short of a few divisions that add on, I manage to IT department and all the staff in the office building. I also oversee a bunch of smaller projects like a new research laboratory. Okay, so I got to brief the nerds at the basement on the new mainframes coming in, and I got to check on those slackers in the science lab. Nathan, my main man. Morning, Yak. Did you get your memo? I received one last night, so night. Is that the one you were talking about? That's the one. Cut him dry. Are you sure you want us to shut down the program so early? They're only just started. We could be sitting on a gold mine. Nathan, I need results. It's been 6 months and right now I got nothing to show for it. I invested a lot of money in the lab. So did I, and I got even more at stake here than you do. I'll sort this out. Make sure you do. I'm fed up with waiting. Of course you are. Yak's my boss and he's got the majority direction board under his thumb. He's cold, ruthless and complete douchebag. I hate Yak. That bastard has a point though. I never should have trusted 20 years olds to run a research program. It's completely a mess over there. They're meant to be researching drugs, not tinkering with fucking machines all day. I guess I go and talk to them. Again. It doesn't matter what I say though. They never take their job seriously. One of them won't. Okay, time to check on the basement dwellers. We try not to go down to the basement too much. Why aren't the lights on down here? Sorry, it's help us focus. What the? Why the hell does two of the other characters show up down here? We weren't expecting visitors. I don't care. Turn on the bloody things back on. I nearly fell over on the way in here. Yeah, we turn on them back on. Yerk. I heard that. Say it again and you're fired. Then I could finally leave this place. Did you start working on the mainframe yet? We're still applying cooling paste on the central processing unit, and I got to hook up the firewire at the Ethernet cables to the mainframe to thread those throughout the rest of the building. I'm not an idiot. I know you made up half of those words. Actually, he didn't. Those are actually real words. I didn't. I don't care. Get to work. Yes, boss. And clean up this place. It's disgusting down here. How many characters will actually show up in this story? Because I know several. I know some did. I didn't know those two would. But what the hell? I had a suspicion that we're spending most of the time playing games down here, but I hadn't been able to prove anything yet. That's the nerds taken care of. Now I need to check on those idiots at the lab. Where's my phone? I pulled out my phone and called out a volunteer to let them know I was coming. They were probably screwing around, and letting them know would strike a bit fear into them and make them work for once. Derek, you there? Yeah? Get your shit together, I'm coming over. Ugh. They better have something for me this time. What's the weird smell? It is coming from the break room. I give these kids their own laboratory and they can't even keep it clean. Idiots. Let's get this over with. How are you, gentlemen? Good morning, Nathan. We are good. You? I could be better. Oh? I've been looking at your research and your initial findings are great. The problem is that you've been running the same old test over and over again, and you're not moving forward. All you're doing is changing the appearance of rats, and that's great and all, but it's not exactly going to impress the rest of the add-on investors. We're just following protocol. Sometimes protocol is overrated, and determined to progress, we need to step things up here and bump this research up a notch. Well, it's kinda hard due to the high-end research like this, when you have to keep your employees in the dark, especially with the really low salary giving them. I'm not going over your staffing situation again. This is the absolute maximum we can spend without drawing attention to ourselves. I had kinda exaggerated the level of secrecy needed when I hired these two. Sure, companies did steal IDs from each other every now and again, but it didn't happen that often. Even in another company like Boxes managed to steal something from us, we wouldn't have anything to worry about. All of our data is encrypted and stored in massive servers, and we could prove we came up with the first through data logs. Actually, servers aren't actually too hard to hack. There are no problem to hack a mainframe or anything. Seriously, I can even hack into that, and I'm not very good at hacking. I only said all of that stuff about corporation spying because kids these days were idiots. They'd be posting selfies and revealing company information all over social media websites if I didn't put my foot down. And Adam had enough of the imagined problem as it was. Come on with that lie. It was a stroke of genius. Then what do you suggest? Human trials. Human trials? Of what? This is a viral delivery vector. We're just testing our ability to transplant genes into cellular targets. That make an insertion in for a hair color or something. It doesn't matter what it is. We take care of the marketing side of things. I don't know how I feel about this. Well, just say it's a drug trial for a new anti-flu vaccine, but actually use it to study the effects of your viral construct on the general population. We have to test this widespread effect sooner or later, so we might as well ramp things up now. Yeah, something about this doesn't sit well with me. I don't like where this is heading either. Then maybe it's time I handed your research over to another lab. No. You're leaving me no choice here. I had no idea what these two were actually researching. They figured out something genetics trick and made an impression on our science team, and with the amount of breakthrough in the pharmaceutical field recently, I managed to sense and snatch them up. One of the advisors told me that they were working on a way to cause hair growth, but I hadn't seen much progress yet. Less scientific theory and more actual experimentation, that's what these two needed. Wait, I have an idea. How about we test the construction ourselves? Absolutely not. Hear me out here. What if I told you that we figured out a way to change our organic gender completely, simply by giving them a serum containing a viral construction and a few X chromosomes? And what I told you that Liam and I could test this serum on ourselves within the hour. Are you serious? Yes. You do realize that research like this is worth millions, right? Unless, of course, this is all a bunch of bullshit. I know it's worth billions. And you're prepared to test this crazy theory on yourselves. I insist, we are the first two people we tested on. Damn, I'm beginning to remember why I gave you two fundings in the first place. Although I still think this might be bullshit. I believe their ridiculous claims when I saw them. If they weren't lying, then fantastic. We just made fortune. Actually, a serum like that isn't worth billion. It's worth like at least 1,000,000 times more than that. That would seriously, people would pay anything to get their hands on that. There's no way that would be cheap, but there's no way that wouldn't make anyone more rich than Donald Duck. If anyone knows what that is. No, not Donald Duck. What is the older duck called? This would have that big thing up a mountain. What the hell is he called? Well, the uncle of Donald Duck, at least. It would make anyone more rich than him. And he is pretty rich, if I know right. If they were lying, I fired them on the spot, I'd win either way. Now that they're out of the room, I can finally look at their beneficial reports. They're spending how much? That's my investment money. You mean our investment money? Ah! Rose, what are you doing here? How did you know where I was? I followed you. That's a little bit creepy. No, it's not. You've been disappearing throughout the day for months now, and you won't even tell me where you're going. You just say you're going to check on the business prospect, and then disappear for 3 hours. Well, it's not like I'm goofing off, I'm working. On what? Scientific research. Can I see those financial reports? Holy shit, Nathan. I know things were bad, but I didn't realize they were this bad. There's no need to get so worked up. Setting this place up cost a lot of money, but it's going to make it all back and then some. It just make them a little bit... it just take a little bit of time, that's all. Will it? This so-called laboratory is run by a bunch of overpledged children who got absolutely no grasp on how a proper business should be run. Yeah, but our savings are short, Nathan. We can't even afford to pay for our own wedding. It's an investment, and it make back 10 times what we put into it, if not more. An investment, huh? Do you remember bad on electronics? Because it might as well be just be window dressing at the mall, because I don't think the single person has even been in there. This is different. We have a future together, and we need to take things seriously, not throw away everything in stupid fantasies. Well, it seems as fantasies, but I actually thought of some things that might actually work. Maybe not fast transformation, but at least one that would work over a year. It's not a stupid fantasy. We continue this talk at home. I'm not happy. Fantastic. Well, an angry girl is worse than everything. Rose left and I continued to look over the financial reports. Honestly, she was right. This place had... this place was hammering money, and unless those two suddenly made a scientific breakthrough of the century, things were only going to get worse. Now that I think about it, Rose is probably right about this lab being a poor business investment. Gender swap drugs, really? They actually expect me to believe that. It's as if you could just swap someone's gender on the spot like that. Seriously. Why I... Kevin! A green grass flooded the room and out of nowhere, and I was completely overwhelmed. The strange gas pierced my lungs and I fell to the floor in agony. The next few moments were a blur, but I could tell something strange was happening to me. My head was itchy and I felt a cleansing sensation in my stomach, as if everything was being sucked inwards. It was ridiculously, and when I came to, it became clear that something had gone horribly, horribly wrong in the other room. What the... I'm a woman? What the fuck did those two idiots do? The green gas had seriously messed me up. My previously short hair now dropped down to my shoulders, and its tone and had changed to a lighter shade of brown. My body shape had changed dramatically too, and I had much more slender build. My business suit barely fit me now, and was starting to fall down around my waist. My hands felt small and feminine, to top it all off, I had wide hips and two big jugs jutting out of my chest. It was almost impossible to believe, but the green gas had transformed me into a woman. I didn't even have to look down my pants to confirm anything. I could feel that my yonk was gone. Why does everyone call it yonk? It isn't yonk. Someone had some serious explaining to do. What the hell just happened? Nathan, is that you? Of course it's me. I'm wearing the same outfit as I was 5 minutes ago. Good point. Your stupid serum wasn't meant to turn me into a girl too. Why the hell was there an explosion? The centrifuge had a malfunction and then it exploded. It was equipment failure? Damn it. That makes us legally responsible. You can reverse this transformation, right? I think we can. Bloody hell. What do we have to do what do we do about everyone else? In the explosion transformed the three of us, it was bound to affect the other employees. It's only a matter of time until they burst in here asking what happened, and they're not going to be happy. Just pretend it was an all-around accident, and you have no idea why it happened. Don't say a word about your gender research to anyone. That should buy us some time to sort things out and avoid any major lawsuits. Not a word of this to anyone, understood? Understood. Got it. Stay here, I'm going to make a few phone calls. Those two idiots had really fucked up this time. This was a horrific situation to be in. Aside from my own personal predicament, a bunch of employees under my care had just their bodies spontaneously transformed against their will at their workplace. Unless we could fix this right away, there was going to be countless lawsuits and settlements and further emotional trauma suffered at work. This might be a scientific breakthrough, but it didn't get things under control. It would bankrupt Abanom rather than save it. I was so serious. I was in serious trouble, and I didn't have much time. I raced back to the office and frankly booted up the computer. Come on. Where did I save those workplace agreements? What the hell did the lawyers write back then? Here we go. In the event of an industrial accident at the laboratory, each individual will be compensated as per agreement 42A of the contract. I think we're okay. I mean, sure, I'm going to have to pay out a few employees if we can find a way to change them back, but this covers us legally. I need to run by the lawyers, but this seems good to me. I guess those suits really did think of everything when they drafted these contracts. Gotta love a good legal team. Even so, that doesn't change the fact I got a giant mess on my hands. If we can compress this, then that's fantastic. But I don't really want to be stuck in the body of a woman forever, even if it did make me rich. Shit, how the hell am Ruth going to take all this? I didn't even think of that. This isn't good. Wait until you have the more information first. Call Ruth and let her know. Seriously, if I wait until I have more information, I know if you lie to a girl for even a moment, even if you didn't tell her right away, she get pissed. And I have a good amount of experience in that, seriously. There's no point putting this off. I need to call Ruth and explain what happened. There's no brushing this under the rug. On the second thought, I might send her a text message. My hand was shaking with dread, but I was going to have to tell Ruth sooner or later. It took some time to come up with the right words, but I sent her a text message and waited for her to respond. Her response was unspeakably skeptical, but I had pictured her interest, and she said she would head over soon. This was going to be a hard one to explain. Against my better judgment, I decided to actually come out here in a slight chance that you're trying to make up for this morning. I don't know what you're getting at, but here I am. I mean, turned into a woman? This is the most elaborate form of apology I ever heard. It doesn't even make any sense. Hi, Rose. Oh. You weren't kidding. Being turned into a woman is a pretty bizarre thing to make up. So you're going to surprise me with flowers or a box of chocolates? No. Well, that's hardly surprising. Eh? To be fair, I've been a bit preoccupied. I mean, look at me. I'm a Phrygian woman. How did that happen? Did something go wrong at the lab? Yeah, those privileged kids might be clumsy and not know how to operate the equipment properly, but I wasn't kidding when I said they were making big steps forward in the scientific field. So you spontaneously transformed into a girl because those scientists tested some new drug on you? Actually, it was a lab accident, but I explain all that later. You got to admit, this is pretty big scientific find. Nowhere else in the world is going to is doing stuff like this. Okay, so you may be there a slight chance that this lab might be worth investing in, maybe. It's pretty crazy though. Yeah, having a boyfriend turning into a woman in of nowhere one morning must have been pretty shocking. I was talking about the fact that you might have possibly made a successful business investment, but the gender swapping is pretty crazy too. They better find a way to get me back to normal. Why would they? They were able to turn you into a woman in a few minutes. Surely it's pretty much the same process to turn you back. It's not like there's some unwritten law in the universe that lets it's easy to change genders but almost impossible to take back. That's just stupid. Actually, that's not too stupid. You think it. You're born with one set of genders. Both genders pretty much have the same chromosome and all, but slight differences. That means it would be easy to change into another to another genetic structure. But that means it would be harder to change it to the complete opposite after you added more chromosomes to one of the genders, even if you switch to the other gender you already have. That actually would be hard. That means You have to eliminate half of your DNA build to actually be able to change. And that's actually not stupid. That just going. That just actually makes sense if you know what I was saying. I just hope they can change me back soon. Actually, spending some time as a woman will probably do you good. It might make you appreciate me just a little bit more. I appreciate you heaps. It doesn't feel like that sometimes. Really though, we were just researching gender swap drugs. Is there something you're not telling me? Because that would explain a lot. Don't look at me. Those scientists were to blame, not me. I'm not employing this in. I'm not enjoying this in the slightest. It's pretty awful, honestly. My hair keeps getting in the way of everything. Everything it keeps jiggling. We're going to have to tell the board about this. We still have the meeting scheduled for after lunch, don't we? Yep, this is going to be hilarious. Yeah, it is going to be such an asshole. But hey, at least I made a good business investment. You and I both know that there's just as big a chance that everyone is this building and up suing us and crippling us financially, right? We have a legal contract covering us. Yeah, because those have never been contested in the court. If you just spoken to me about this, we would have worked out a business deal together. Whatever, I'm going back to work. I can't deal with this right now. You think you have it tough? I've just been transformed into a woman. And how is that a bad thing? We still have the talk when we get home. I see you at the board meeting. Don't remind me. I left the electronic reminder in my phone to buy Ruth a present at lunch. She was clearly still upset for the morning, and I should probably make things up to her. To be fair, though, I was going through a hell of a lot right now, and I'd get to it if I had time. Actually, I might not be as legally covered as I think I am. This part of the contract is awfully vague. What was the name of the lower girl at the office? Natasha? Wait, isn't she a girl also in the story or something? Narelia? Narelia isn't a real name. That can't be it. Natalia. Now I remember. I get her to look at this. She's a genius at the sort of things. Except if I do that, I have to show my face at the office like this. I'll tie a belt around my waist so my pants don't fall down. If I'm stuck like this for longer than a day, I borrowed some of Bruce's more unisex clothing. Those idiots won't have anything done today. They'll probably go home and fondle themselves all night instead of pulling an all-nighter like any sensible person would. Now that I think about it, I wonder if Ruth would be open to some experimentation. Let's be honest here. It probably would be a bit of fun if I could talk to her into it. She might not even have time to say no. She might just jump right into it. I'll worry about that later though. Right now I got work to do. Judging from the noise coming from down the hallway, I was handling being transformed into opposite sex completely different than the other employees. It was because they were idiots. It wasn't like being transformed into an opposite sex really changed that much. Sure, it meant having to wear more form-fitting pair of jeans, but it wasn't like getting a pair of boots suddenly made your life completely different. They were pretty hard to ignore though. And seriously, why were they already calling each other by female names like Bree and Lynn and all the time? It had only been like few hours crying out loud. There was everyone saying everywhere changed with back to normal by the end of the day. Really, the only things I worried about it was looking professional and accommodating authority, and it wasn't like that would be hard to accomplish in a female form. You just have to change my wardrobe a little. Then again, it might not be that straightforward. There were lots of suitable things women did differently, like how they used the body language in conversation and use different tones of voice. I probably suck at manipulating people now. I just come across as an idiot. And then there were all sorts of problems when you brought Rose into the picture. She always been attracted to me as a man, but I didn't exactly look like a moss-bound stud anymore. Okay, being a girl was a problem, a really big problem that would mess up a bunch of things if we didn't fix it soon. However, halfway through the morning things I got even worse, which a few moments ago I hadn't thought was possible. Hey Nathan, there's something I need to talk you to take a look at. How long are we gonna be in this office? I want to finish it. Actually, let's actually hear what they have to say next time. So that was all I had for you and the bandit this time then, so hit like and subscribe and I'll see you next time. BroFive!